Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, June 11th meeting of the Common Council. The time is 7 p.m. We'll begin with item 1, the roll call. Clerk, may you please call the roll?
Mayor Kim Smith,
Here.
Sean McAllister, excused. Dan Stevens,
Present.
Stephen Knott,
Present.
Mike Milkey,
Here.
Larry Jurassic,
Present.
Diane Wolf.
Here. Thank you. Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it
Which
stands,
stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3, the rules of the City of Onalaska Common Council and its subcommittees. This is a harassment-free forum. The City Council and subcommittee meetings shall be conducted in a courteous manner. Citizens, council, and committee members shall be allowed to state their positions in an atmosphere free of slander, obscene remarks, or threats of violence. Sufficient warnings may be given by the sergeant at arms or the chair at any time during the remarks. And in the event that any individual shall violate the rules of decorum as set forth, such person may then be cut off from comment or debate. Item 4 is public input. If you would like to address the Common Council this evening, now is the time to do so. Please begin by stating your name and your address and keep your comments to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to address the Common Council this evening? Come forward. Welcome.
All right, thanks very much. My name is Stacy Klein, and I'm here because I'm running for state senate. And I wanted to come out and introduce myself very briefly. I'll hand out cards. I'll stick around afterwards if anybody wants to ask me more questions. But very quickly, I grew up in Trumbull County. I grew up on a dairy farm there. I serve on our county board. You guys stole Rick away from us. I also served on a couple of committees for our school district, the COVID Advisory Committee, and then the Strategic Planning Committee. My husband serves on our town board, so I appreciate all that you do on the local level. I know a lot of work goes into it. And I am running on the Republican side of the ticket. So I am a natural mediator. I tend to get along with most anybody, always looking for solutions. How can we come together and do what's best for everyone? Look at the common things for us, which are roads, broadband. There's going to be certain issues where I feel very strongly about. We have a multi-billion-dollar surplus at the state, and I believe a lot of that money should come back out to the taxpayers. There's also certain issues where I will stand very firm. I have a 10-year-old daughter and can be a mama bear at sometimes, but really focus on communication, intergovernmental relationships, building those relationships so that we can all serve our communities to the best of our abilities. So I appreciate the time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the Common Council this evening? Joanne, did you get Stacy Klein's address? I don't think she stated that for the, I'm just looking at my note here and I'm like, I think we missed that.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
So I'm in trouble. It's W24646 Park Road in Trumbull. I apologize. Some meetings ask me to state it, some don't. So
It's no problem. It's a team effort here. Okay. Would anyone else like to address the Common Council this evening? Second call for anyone wishing to address the Common Council. Third and final call for public input this evening. Not seeing or hearing anyone, public input is now closed, and we will move on to item 5, report from the mayor. It's a very exciting night tonight as we get to welcome 2 of our new graduates to our police force. Chief, you want me to just turn it over to you? Start out. I can just start talking. So first is the oath of office and recognition for police officer Adam Trundle on graduating from Western Technical College Law Enforcement Academy. Chief.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, just to say just a couple words in general, and then Joanne can bring them up each for their oath. But yeah, tonight we are celebrating both Adam and Josh's graduation from the Law Enforcement Academy that occurred last Friday. And so they entered the academy in early February, I think at February 6th maybe, and spent those 4 months through grueling schooling and physical training and all of the aspects of police work that the Law Enforcement Academy teaches them. So this is a huge accomplishment for them. We're very proud of them. Glad to have them on our department and look forward to the next phase of their career, which is the field training phase. And they'll be spending roughly 15, 16 weeks rotating around with various officers, learning on the job, report writing and tactics and different things like that. So that'll be an exciting phase for them, I'm sure, and they're excited to get out on the road. So thank you for their families that are here tonight, and we'll be doing the badge pinning with them. And that's about it. All right, Joanne.
So Adam first, and to the family and support that's here, feel free to get up and move around the room so you can get whatever picture you think is the one you want to have.
You raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Adam Trudell,
I, Adam Trudell,
having been appointed to the office of
having been appointed to the office of
police officer for the Onalaska Police Department,
police officer for the Onalaska Police Department,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of said office
discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, welcome to Adam. Next, we'll have the oath of office and recognition of police officer Joshua Buchner on graduating from Western Technical College Law Enforcement Academy.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Joshua Butcher,
I, Joshua Butcher,
having been appointed to the office of
having been appointed to the office of
police officer for the Onalaska Police Department,
police officer for the Onalaska Police Department,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of said office
discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to you as well, Joshua. All right, under the mayor's report, item C is a proclamation for the Upper Mississippi National Wildlife and Fish Refuge celebrating their 10-year anniversary. There will be a celebration for this event on Saturday, June 22nd from 10 to 2 at the Visitor Center down on the Prairie on County Road Z, and the proclamation is in your packet. Item D is recognition of Val Erickson's service on the Room Tax Commission. I have accepted her resignation. That will bring us to item E, the appointment of Kapina Fato to the Room Tax Commission. His information was in your packet, and I would like to ask the Common Council to endorse his appointment to the Room Tax Commission.
So as a chair of the Room Tax Commission, I guess I will move that we appoint Kapina Fato
Fato?
to the Room Tax Commission.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Dan Stevens. It's been seconded by Mike Milky to appoint Kapina to the Room Tax Commission. Is there further discussion? I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Dan Stevens,
Aye.
Stephen Knott,
Aye.
Mike Milky,
Aye.
Diane Wolf. Aye. Larry Jurassic.
Aye.
Thank you. Kapina has been appointed. Next up, recommendations for approval and or possible action from the following committees, commissions, boards, and officials. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests removal, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the order of business in the non-consent agenda. Are there any items the councilors would like removed from the consent agenda? Not seeing or hearing any, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Stephen Knott. It's been seconded by Diane Wolf to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. The consent agenda is approved. Moving on to the non-consent agenda. Item 7 is a recap of items pulled from the consent agenda. There were none. So we will move to item 8, Finance Committee. I'll turn to Dan Stevens to bring forward these items.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under item 8A vouchers, the following is a list of monies expended since the last Common Council meeting dated May 14th, 2024. And the total is $1,968,472.20. And I move that we make that approval.
Second.
A motion on the floor by Dan Stevens. It's been seconded by Larry Jurassic to approve the vouchers as indicated. Is there any discussion? Not seeing or hearing any. All in favor of approving the vouchers, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. The vouchers are approved. Back to you, Alder Stevens.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, under item 8B, resolution 20-2024, providing for the sale of approximately $4,165,000 note anticipation notes, and I move that we approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Dan Stevens. It's been seconded by Mike Milky to approve resolution 20-2024. And I'll turn first to our finance director, Sabrina Steger, to give us more information on this bond sale.
Thank you, Mayor.
Or
So
notes.
this was approved at F&P, mainly just because it is related to financials. I decided to put it on non-consent. I do have Brad Vagu online. I know the majority of the council members were at F&P, but if you have any questions, he is online as well. But this was the recommendation that was brought forward from F&P.
Thank you. Brad, did you want to say a few words or just open it up to questions?
I would just say that the committee last week did review several financing plans and ultimately recommend the plan that's on the resolution you're considering now. Other than that, I'm glad to answer questions.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us tonight. Okay, back to the council. Do you have any other questions or comments regarding this resolution? Okay, the resolution on the floor is to approve, and we will have a roll call vote.
Larry Jurassic,
Aye.
Stephen Knott,
Aye.
Dan Stevens,
Aye.
Mike Milky,
Aye.
Diane Wolf. Aye.
Motion is approved. Thank you. And thank you again, Brad, for joining us. Item C is resolution 23-2024. Dan?
Thank you, Your Honor. Item C, Resolution 23-2024 to temporarily suspend water and sewer zone charges for North Abbey Road and Crestwood Lane. I believe this was amended and was not discussed at F&P, if I recall. So I would maybe defer to, I'll make the motion for discussion. Then if it seconds, I'll refer to Sabrina.
I'll second.
A motion just to discuss or a motion to approve?
We'll make the motion to approve it and then see where the discussion leads us.
Okay, motion on the floor to approve this resolution by Dan Stevens. Larry Jurassic seconded it.
I'll actually
Sabrina.
defer to Rick if that's.
Okay, Rick, could,
I will start and then I will also, Amanda and Katie will also chime in as well too. This came before the council, I believe, 2 months ago, last month, for some initial discussion about waiving certain fees for certain individuals who they may want to have some benefit in annexing to the city of Onalaska. And so what this does is it does waive those particular fees, at least on behalf of the city. There may be other fees that are involved as well too. I'll defer to Katie in regards to maybe more specifics on the locations of these, if there needs to be a refresher in regards to where that's located.
Thank you. So there are two areas that we're looking at tonight, specifically along North Abbey Road and also Crestwood Lane. We've had conversations with the town. They are aware that this is coming forward with the town of Onalaska and plan to have discussions with the town of Madera as well. They will still be subject to our park fee or green fee if they are a commercial business, but we're just looking at waiving until December 31st of 2026 to give people approximately a year and a half to decide if they want to pursue this, get the necessary paperwork in place and begin the process to actually annex the land. If there are any questions, please let me know.
okay, are there any further questions by the counselors?
And if I understand this correctly, this is just to make it easier to bring people into the city and make everything more uniform.
Correct. And letters will go out to the individual property owners that are identified.
Okay, Larry Jurassic?
Thank you, Mayor. How many properties are we talking about or possibly talking about?
Katie probably has that. Are there any other questions while Katie looks that up? Okay.
Jared guesses 30 and we'd like to see how close he is.
I was gonna say 39 to be fair.
patient. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just kind of a reminder, it was the items that we talked about in closed session that we had on the map. So while Katie is finishing up, those are the properties that we're discussing.
Here we go.
I guess for information, we did go, several of us went to the town of Onalaska and met with their clerk and Stan, their town chair. They were very, very appreciative that we came and met with them and answered their questions. And it really wasn't anything, just more informational. The town of Madera, I had a harder time getting a hold of them. I did talk to the clerk on the phone and explain what we were doing. And also I emailed with their chair. They requested to have a meeting in the after next week when some people are on vacation to answer some more questions or whatever, but the door to communication is open with them and they should not be blindsided by this.
85 properties.
Ooh.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you for your patience.
Okay, are there still no more questions? Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve Resolution 23-2024. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 9, Alder Dan Stevens.
Thank you again, Your Honor. I think I'm gonna try to make this a little bit shorter because I have a park full of people and I should probably really get there, but I did want to say a few words. I did have an experience 2 weeks ago tonight. I was on the receiving end of Onalaska City Services when we had to summon the Onalaska Fire Department. Long story short, lit a propane tank, walked away for between 2, but not more than 3 minutes to clean out a little drip pan. And when I came back, I had an inferno underneath my grill with a faulty relief valve, and the temperature gauge was like maxed out at 800. So I don't even know what it was at, but it did actually melt off the oxygen valve, like they just fell off. So I did have a fire extinguisher. It was like 20 years old, but thankfully it still worked. And when the fire was out, my tank was making a very loud, like not just a little hiss, it was like a shh. And it was very hot under there, and I didn't think it was gonna blow up, but I didn't know that it was gonna blow up. So after hemming and hawing, and we're like, should we call the fire department? And ultimately, we decided to do that because I didn't want my house to blow up. That's where I keep all my stuff. So anyway, they did come out. They were able to disconnect the tank, and they made things safe, and it was much better. So the only reason I bring this up is, well, twofold. So first, it's a cautionary tale. I'm really thankful that I had a fire extinguisher. If not, it was getting hot really quick and it could have caught my house on fire, and I'm sure glad it didn't. And second, if you're ever thinking about, do you have the fire department come? I mean, I'm in a position where you call them if the fire's already out. And I'm glad that we did. It gave us immediate peace of mind, and we'd feel better for it. So I want to give special thanks. Lieutenant Netwell and his crew came out, and then Chief Floody, like within the day of me asking, provided a incident report, which I was able to now turn in and get a new grill and propane tank. So anyway, kudos to the Onalaska Fire Department. We are better for having them there. So thank you.
Thank you for that, Alder Stevens, and thank you to the Onalaska Fire Department. Item 10, City Administrator Report. Rick?
Thank you, Mayor. I handed out the report just before the meeting, and I'll just briefly go over it. I know you can obviously read it yourself as well. But as you see on there, there are a number of RFPs that are out currently. And so I've listed those that are currently pending and when their due dates are. So there's a lot of activity that is going on. There are more yet to come this year, if I remember correctly. So this is just the beginning of them. The community center, that advertisement for bids has been sent out. The pre-bid meeting was held this morning here in City Hall. Good turnout, 20, 25 people, somewhere in that ballpark showed up, asked questions. A few of them then went to the existing community center afterwards and did a tour of the facility as well. Bids are due on June 25th by 2 p.m. and the bid opening will occur here in council chambers on that afternoon as well. So in case anybody's interested. If you haven't seen yet, the new printers are installed and they seem to be working well. I think we're still working through just, a couple setup issues, but other than that, I think they're working well. As council is well aware, because we just had a strategic planning meeting before council meeting tonight. We are in our last phase of it. Tonight may have been the last one. I'll be reaching out to each of you on that topic a little bit more, whether you want to have another one before the council meeting or whether you just want to address the proposal at the next council meeting. So I'll reach out to you on that, but we are wrapping those things up. Staff, the groups will be meeting this month, and then they will do a final review on July 2nd before getting it to council. Keep in mind, though, that once the plan is ultimately approved, that is not the end of the process. The next step then is any implementation of any of the plans that are put in place. So that'll be the next step there. Benefit Work Group is also continuing to work hard on that. We're about halfway through the policies right now, but still having some really good conversation about what those will look like and any potential changes. have decided to bring them all at one time. Because as we go through them and we make changes in one way or the other, they also impact other policies. And so we may have to go back and revisit them. So we kind of want to do it all at once and then we'll bring them forward. So it might seem like a lot, but the changes I think are relatively, it shouldn't take too much to get through those in one time. So. And I put the cybersecurity on there. I happened to attend virtual, the League of Wisconsin Municipalities put on a virtual event today over the noon hour, that there's a new grant, a relatively new grant that has been issued by the state of Wisconsin, several millions, if not billions of dollars that municipalities can apply for when it comes to particularly MFA and MDR. You can probably remember some of that. We talked a little bit about that last month. So this grant process might come in handy with some of the things that we want to do here in the city. So staff are currently assessing our eligibility and what that will cover and see if we can utilize some of that grant resources for some of the things we talked about last month. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And then the last one are the meeting and events that I participated in. So that's everything for that report. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Rick.
Okay, so then the next one is as there had been previous conversation, as well as various commissions, committees, and boards have talked about the meeting times for their monthly meetings. Council did talk about this previously, and so this is coming back. The only change in here is the time. The time of 6:30 was put in. That was simply based on the feedback. There were different times that were discussed. We just put one in for the time being for this body to decide what time, if you want to change it, what time that would be. So this is basically the time for the council to discuss if you want to change the time of the monthly council meeting.
Thank you. That being said, I'll turn that over to the council.
I'll move to approve ordinance 1792-2024. So we can have a discussion.
Second.
Okay, you have a motion on the floor by Stephen Knott. It's been seconded by Mike Milky to approve ordinance 1792-2024. The purpose of this ordinance is to change the council meeting time from 7 PM to 6:30 PM. Any discussion? Alder Stevens.
Yep, I'm fine with 6:30 and I need to go. So my apologies to the council and everybody who's been here, but if you finish early, come down to Dash Park.
Dan, would you be able to go earlier if people want to go earlier? What's the earliest you can go?
What's the earliest I can go?
Yeah, because I mean, we could have a discussion that changes this. That's what I'm saying.
My preference is 7, but if we go to 6:30, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold at 6:30, so. But if it gets outvoted, I'll still show up.
Before you leave, could I have your packet? Thank you.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Alder Wolf.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've given this a lot of thought and I've gone back in my calendar the last 2 years. I know we had talked about possibility of 6 o'clock. I know that just does not work for me at all. I believe it was Alder Knott who suggested maybe 6:30. I said it was a lot better, but once going back in my calendar, 6:30 is not feasible for me. And so I'm going to agree with Dan Stevens, with Alder Stevens on this, that 7 o'clock is much preferable. It would be a strain for me to make 6:30, and there's probably 4 months out of the year that I can't be here at 6:30. So I can't support the 6:30 time. I ran for office knowing that it was going to be 7 o'clock. And if you don't, I mean, on this council, put it at noon and then I won't be here. Or I'll be Zooming all the time. So, but yeah, I won't be able to make the 6:30 meeting. So I will be voting no on the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Alder Knott.
Yeah, so this can always be revisited at any given year too, but I think if there's even one member of the council who can't make an earlier time, to me, that is a solid veto that I need to support as well. So yeah, I will be voting no as well if even one of us can't make that.
Or I think you could just do an amendment to change the time.
Oh, that's
Right.
true, yeah.
Or
But,
deny.
well,
No,
but
because
then it's already in.
Our ordinance already says
Yes,
7
so it would
PM.
just be
Oh,
tonight.
so okay. Thank you, Amanda. That's
Yeah.
great guidance. Okay, any other discussion? Alder Wolf?
As a follow-up to that, thank you, Your Honor. I do know, I think council has been doing this and I will always, and I think we all do this, but I will continue to advocate that, for meetings like, for example, this evening. I believe that, on closed session tonight, I've already had a discussion, and unless council will say otherwise, I believe, for example, we can let our HR person go this evening. There's no need for them to stay. And I think as a council, we've been very sensitive to that matter, that if we have 3 or 4 items on closed session, we'll say, okay, who needs to stay? Like if Public Works needs to stay the longest for all 4, well, sorry, Jared's going to be here all night for closed session. But if Parks and Rec can only has to be here for 1, we're going to take that item first. So we've been doing that for quite some time. And I think we need to continue to do that and be sensitive to those department heads because they've been here all day and we haven't. And I think as long as we continue to be sensitive to that, I like I said, 7 o'clock works for me, but I think we just, for time's sakes and to be kind, costs us nothing to be kind, to go ahead and stay with that sensitivity of our department heads' time and their obligation here. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Stephen?
Comment. I just want to remark for humor's sake that this will be the second time since I've been an alder that I'll be voting against a motion that I made.
And I remember the last time you did that too.
Let the record show. All right, so the motion on the floor is to adjust the meeting time to 6:30. That is what the motion is on the floor for. So, let's see. That can just be a simple vote, I think. Okay, so any other comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed say no.
No.
Okay, the motion fails. We will stick with 7 PM. We're good. All right. Item 11, closed session. This is to consider a motion to convene in closed session under section 1985(1)(c) of the Wisconsin statutes for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically the mid-year review of the Common Council's city administrator goals. If any action is required in open session as a result of the closed session, the council will reconvene in open session to take the necessary action and/or continue on with the printed agenda. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Mike Milky. It's been seconded by Larry Jurassic to go into closed session. Voting will be by roll call.
Larry Jurassic,
Yay.
Stephen Knott,
Aye.
Diane Wolf,
Aye.
Mike Milky.
Aye.
That was unanimous. We are in closed session. The time is 7:33. Thank you for joining us tonight.